Hello everyone, this is the Holiday Christmas Fan, and this will be my last video on It Chapter 2. But I gotta talk about something. Bill Skarsgård has a plan for It Chapter 3, and now before you say, oh, It Chapter 3 is a bad idea. This sounds, the way they put it, is if they do It Chapter 3, they're not saying it's gonna happen. It's possible. It's a possibility. It's on their list. They're thinking about it. But Bill Skarsgård said if we're gonna do an It Chapter 3, it's gonna be a prequel and it will be focused on Pennywise. It will be an origin story on Pennywise before the first two movies, before the Losers Club had war with Pennywise and it. The creature in general. Bill Skarsgård said we would learn more about Derry. We would learn a lot more about Pennywise. He said there would be a lot of Pennywise in this movie, and he said this would be the most Pennywise we have ever had in a It film. And, you know, if they do a prequel, it will probably be the last one. Possibly. Because the thing is, if they're going to do this, it's very possible and it could be done. Easily, this idea could be done so well. I think it could be the best It film. It Chapter 3, if this idea happens, the things I've been hearing from Bill Skarsgård's plan, what he wants to do with the third film, it sounds amazing. Like, it sounds like it sounds like Bill Skarsgård knew that It Chapter 2 was gonna fail. Does it fail? Yes. Is it good? Yes. It's not amazing, it's okay. But I think Bill Skarsgård knows that It Chapter 3 was a fail. A total fail. And I think Bill Skarsgård is very mad what they did with his character. I'm surprised Bill Skarsgård wants to come back again as Pennywise for a third time, because why the heck? Here's the problem that you guys don't understand. If you watch the first movie, Pennywise talks a lot in that movie. He talks quite a bit in that movie. In It Chapter 2, he talks like twice, and then the whole movie he's done with special effects, jump scares, and yada yada. That's it. He talks like 2 times in It Chapter 2. The rest of the movie, he's just done with special effects. Sharp teeth, killing people, repeat. Rinse and repeat. Doesn't talk after that. It Chapter 3. And Bill Skarsgård obviously doesn't like the second movie. Because the way his plan, he makes it seem like he doesn't like Chapter 2. He makes it seem like he's not happy what they did with Pennywise in Chapter 2. And Bill Skarsgård should be telling Andy Muschietti, I'm not happy what you did with with the character I play in it. And maybe Bill Skarsgård's talking to Andy Muschietti right now as we speak. Like, there's a big possibility that It Chapter 3 is going to happen. Bill Skarsgård has a plan. For all we know, they could be writing the script as we speak. Maybe. Probably not. But if they're going to do It Chapter 3, I want them to take their time with this frickin' movie. Because the biggest disappointment with It Chapter 3 was the way they did Pennywise. I'm not going to lie, Pennywise had his moments. Pennywise did have his moments. But there's also moments of Pennywise in the movie that is not good. Because, and I don't think it's Bill Skarsgård's fault. I think it's whoever had the idea to do more special effects with Pennywise. It's their fault. Whoever had that idea, because it doesn't work. And okay, the 1990 miniseries was 30 years ago about that. 30 freaking years ago. They did the giant spider. They proved to us 30 years ago that that can't be done. A giant spider does not scare people. It's not scary. There's nothing scary about a giant spider. No matter how real it looks, it's not scary. And they did not learn from that in It Chapter 2. They did the spider with the legs, the 4 legs or whatever. Then they take Pennywise's upper body, the clown's body, and attach it to the spider legs. And let me tell you, it looks more silly. The TV miniseries Giant Spider was better than the spider in Chapter 2. I feel stupid saying that. How does a 1990 TV show do better than what It Chapter 2 has done? Like, what the actual... Like, what? Like, I can't believe how many people wanted this giant spider to return. I hope every one of you, anyone that has said that, I hope you regret it, because it didn't turn out whatsoever. It doesn't look good. It's distracting. The special effects that were put on it look weird. There's good special effects in this movie, but there's also special effects in this movie that are so distracting. Believe me, so distracting. It's not even funny. The best adult actor in this movie was Bill Hader. And you know what sucks? Bill Hader was the best part of this movie. Every time a scene played with Pennywise, I was like, come on, get going. I want to see what's going to happen. Do something that I want to see. And they didn't. They don't follow the book the way people wanted them to. And I've already had a YouTuber called Pennywise Fan or something, and he was saying, it's too hard to do that. No. In this generation, it's not hard to do anything with movies at this point. Endgame proved us. Infinity War proved us. Like, if they can do anything with Infinity War, and I get there was a lot of money put into the Endgame and Infinity War, but you can do so much with a movie. It's not even funny. There's so much you could do with a movie now these days. In the book, it's like, I've said this 100 times, it's the clown. A giant Pennywise clown with everything attached to it. The spider, the frickin' werewolf, the burnt hands, the old lady, like the painting lady, the zombie infected thing, and more. Like, it's everything. And they didn't even do that, which is stupid, because I know what you're thinking. Oh, it would look weird. No. They could easily pull it off in such an awesome way. And I don't know what they were thinking, because it doesn't work. Does not work at all. And I wish they did a lot better. I don't even know, like, what was going through Andy Muschietti's head. There's so much they could have done with the movie, and they don't do it. And I get it, like the book, there's not as much as Pennywise in the second part of the book. But why did they go so deep into the book? They could have easily done their own thing with chapter 2. They could have took parts of the story from the second part, but also done their own story at the same time. They could have put so much Pennywise in this movie. We only needed like 3 or 2 flashbacks. We did not need a whole bunch of this crap. Like, really. I don't even know if we needed the flashbacks. Maybe 2. Maybe 2. Maybe 3 or 4. But that's it. We have it felt like we had over 30 flashbacks in this movie. And that's basically the whole movie. Flashbacks. And it doesn't work. It doesn't feel right. It feels like something was taken out of the movie and thrown in the dump. It felt like there was so many parts of Pennywise in this movie, and they just threw it out the window because they were scared to do something different. They were scared to go overboard with Pennywise because honestly, I don't think they could go overboard with Pennywise. And the final form should have been done very well. That should have been, if this had to be the thing, they should have been mainly focused on the story, the characters, Pennywise, and his final form, and the battle. I don't think the final fight was not even an hour long. It was slightly longer than the fight in the first movie, not by much. I thought the fight that was in the first movie was better. The fight that's in the second part is distracting. I do not know what they were thinking. And the ending, don't even get me started on the ending. I didn't even know this until now. But the ending was actually how they killed Pennywise. And it was so stupid. Like, I bought these, right? Bought all of these things. It Chapter 2 cup. And they gave me this Pennywise popcorn thing that I'm just using these for collectibles, but I went into this movie so excited. And coming out, I was so damn irritated, so freaking pissed. Why? Like, why was this movie not as good as the first movie? Like, there was something missing. And I can totally see why people like the second one more, but there's a lot of people out there that don't. And here's the problem. A lot of people are saying Pennywise showed up in this movie. He showed up for like 6 minutes in the movie, and that was it. In It Chapter 2, he showed up for like an hour. And almost an hour in the first movie, if not an hour. How come you go down? How come you put less? I was sitting there in the movie and I'm looking around at people and they're looking at me like, what am I watching? When you have an audience that is doing that, that's not good at all. When you have your main villain character barely in the movie, that's not good at all. That's very bad. That's very bad. That makes your your movie studio look so embarrassing. I was near embarrassed watching this movie. Like, it's good. It's okay, actually. It's okay. It's not fantastic. The first movie is incredible. What they did with that movie, phenomenal. And Pennywise fan or whatever your name is, can't remember, go watch the first movie and you'll see what I mean. You'll see exactly why the first one actually beats the second one. when you get It Chapter 2, watch Chapter 2 first, then watch the first one. I know that's backwards, but you'll understand why then I like the first one more, because the first one, the story was better, so much better. You could actually understand what was going on, and let me tell you, Chapter 2, you knew what was going on, and then you didn't know what was going on. And guys, this movie had more budget going into it, and the only reason was, you know, the old lady scene, how the house they're in, the house that the old lady was in was all done with special effects. So that's why there was more budget into this movie. And when Pennywise was floating off of the frickin' statue and then it comes to life in a flashback, that's why there was more budget in this movie. And this movie was rushed into production. I can already tell you right now, if they do a Chapter 3, they damn well better do a better job than what they did with Chapter 2. There's really good parts in Chapter 2. The old lady scene was good, but disappointing. The funhouse scene, I was actually not a huge fan of that scene. Pennywise was not even talking in that scene. He laughs and then like bangs his head. That was okay. The part that he's like banging his head off the mirror, that was awesome. Scary shit. But like, what in the actual heck? Like, just thinking to myself right now, it's hard to even imagine what went through their head. I do not know why. If they do an It Chapter 3 and it's a sequel, I'm interested to see what they're going to do. Because I think a sequel for It Chapter 3 could be done. It could be. And a prequel could be done as well. Now, if they don't do a sequel, I'm still fine with that. But if they're going to do a prequel, they damn well better go all in. Put more. This one, I don't want you to just put more money in this movie. I want this whole movie to be focused on Pennywise, because first of all, where was he in Chapter 2? Like, literally it felt like there was a main part of Pennywise in this movie, almost a half an hour long, thrown out the window, and half an hour of Pennywise or more. There could have been 2 hours of Pennywise in this movie that could have been deleted for some reason. Something either went wrong or something didn't fit. And honestly, they should have made it fit, because that would have been better than sitting there looking at a screen for felt like 4 or 5 hours long because of the flashbacks. The flashbacks were actually boring. I was bored a lot through this movie. And that's why. Like, if they do It Chapter 3 and it's 3 hours and 2 minutes or something longer than 2, this movie better be focused on Pennywise. I want to see things I did not get to see in Chapter 1 or 2. I want to see so much more about Pennywise. I want to see stuff that we've seen over the past movies, but I also want to see a lot of new things that we haven't seen. Like, what did he shapeshift into in the book that we have not seen in the movie? The werewolf we didn't see in the movie at all, which is kind of disappointing. So that should be in the prequel. And whatever else, like, here's what I think. There should be a final battle in Chapter 3, but focus on it. Focus on how you're going to do the battle. Focus on what people were not happy with. Because this final form, in chapter 2 was not done very well. Like, wasn't scary. The first movie was scary, literally scary. There's parts in the movie that were very intense. Chapter 2 was plain and boring. There was like what? Like one intense scene in the movie? And like, I don't even know where to start. Like, it's just so. I was heartbroken coming out of the freaking theater. Heartbroken. Because I literally thought this. I was excited for this movie all year. And then I come out freaking so disappointed. And you know what, guys? I think they have every right to make a third movie because a lot of people are very mad with the director on what he came up with, because I can totally understand why people are mad at him, because he did not do a very good job at a lot of things in the movie. And if they're going to do a third sequel or a prequel, they better do way better. Make sure that the third movie is the best one out of the whole series. Make sure it's the best one. Because I'm telling you, they could easily make Chapter 3 the best one out of the whole franchise. One holds the number one spot for the best horror film, in my opinion. It's so damn good, it's not even funny. There's almost everything is perfect in the movie. Almost everything. Nearly everything. I didn't have a single issue with the first movie. Not a thing. Nothing. And the worst of it is, guys, is like the adults were not as good as the kids. Like, Bill Hader was the most accurate to the kid version of his character. James McAvoy was good, but oh man, there was something weird about his version. I actually kind of didn't like Bill in Chapter 2 either. Jessica Chastain, like Mike and whoever plays this adult Mike did a great job. And Bill Hader as Richie were the best adult versions of the kids in the movie. Bill Hader was the best parts of the freaking movie, pretty much. Besides I would say the Paul Bunyan statue was better than the final fight. That's how irritated I was coming out of the theater. I was so, oh my god. I thought smoke was going to come out of my head. Like, I thought flames were going to come out of my mouth. I was so freaking pissed. Like, why? It's just so disappointing. And I thought going into this movie, oh my god, this is going to be better than the first movie. I cannot believe it. I already know it. And I come out shocked to find out that it wasn't better. And it's like, it was almost not worth my time to go seeing the movie. Like, it was pretty mess. It was a mess. Like it's a big problem when you don't have your main villain showing up in the movie. It's a huge problem. You got people sitting in the theater like this, and I've seen this with a couple people shaking their head like that in certain parts, and I knew why they were doing that. And there was one guy in the theater that got pissed off. It was like, what, the final fight? He's like this. What? That's what he said in front of everybody sitting down. And I felt bad for this guy. I understand I respect this guy in the theater because I almost did the same thing. The final fight, what the actual heck was it? I felt like saying, what am I watching? Like, there was good parts in the movie, but the final fight was one of the worst parts in my opinion. Literally. The final fight was not even an hour long. The final fight in the book also is supposed to take place outside, and it doesn't. And a lot of people look, oh man, the look on some people's faces coming out of the theater, they look so pissed off on what they have watched. And it's like, you know what, I agree why people are very frustrated, more like mad, because this movie should have been better. There's no doubt about that. This movie should have been the better movie. They could have done so much with the movie, it's not funny at all. But also, guys, I want to talk about something else, because you know what, actually I'll leave that for another video. But I just want to tell you that the spider should have not came back in the movie. They could have done a different idea and did what the book did. Every monster attached to the clown into one giant scary creature. And they could have done it. Don't tell me they couldn't, because they could have easily pulled it off. There was unnecessary things in the fight. There was blue flickering light going on. We don't need that. Blue flashing lights, that is so unnecessary, so distracting. This movie was absolutely rushed into production. It's not even funny. The first movie took years just to get into production. That's why the first one is probably the best one out of the series. Maybe not, but I don't even understand. If they do a third one, I'm going to be irritated before the movie's even out. I'm going to be like, I damn well better go into this movie and be impressed what I've just watched. Because the first movie, there was a lot of unnecessary things. Okay, the part where the guy gets bullied because he's gay and he gets thrown off the bridge and Pennywise kills him. Unnecessary. It says there's 2 opening scenes in this movie. All of a sudden, it again, and it's a flashing rainbow colored it letter with black background saying it with weird noises, and then the movie starts. I'm like, that was pointless. What was the point of that? Like, this movie was rushed into production, no doubt. And guess what? And the worst part about this movie is when the movie starts, I knew what I was in for. I knew what I was in for. I already had a feeling what was going to happen. Right when they copied the frigging Tim Curry thing, "Kiss Me, Fat Boy," when I hear that, I was like, oh my god, they're doing what I think they're going to do. And they did. The stupid, shitty spider that does not have any reason to exist in the movie. Like, man, they did not need to do it either. And they could have done so much more. Like, it's not even funny. They could have done a lot with the movie, and honestly, it could have been done so damn well that it could have been mind-blowing. It could have been terrifying. It could have put shivers down my spine, and it didn't do that at all. The movie wasn't scary. There was nothing scary about this movie. One scene That was it, and there was the Paul Bunyan statue coming to life. Other than that, the whole movie was silly. That was the best part of the movie. Why? My sister's friend seen the movie like last night or something, and she didn't like it either. I mean, it's okay. I don't even know if I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray. Like, I'm that disappointed with the movie. Like, it's just odd because when I heard that Andy Muschietti said, "Oh, there's gonna be more Pennywise," I was like, "No way! They're gonna do everything right with this movie." And I was so excited. I didn't go to bed until 1 o'clock. I was so excited to see the movie. And then I go there, and it was. I wouldn't say it was a waste of my time, but it was pretty damn close. I mean, when I first came home, I was too excited. I was over exaggerating. I was saying it's better than the first movie, and then I sat down the day after and I thought, was it really? And it's not. It really isn't. And it's just why. This video is going to be called Why It Chapter 2 is a Huge Disappointment. A massive disappointment because it could have been a home run, and it was literally it was a sinker. Like, they wanted to make this movie scarier, and there was no reason to make this movie scarier. Like, literally, this movie is not as scary as the first one's scary, terrifying. There are some scenes that put shivers down my spine, definitely. The second one, not scary. The first one feels like It Chapter 2. The first one literally feels like the second movie. Why? Because it's the better movie. The fight's better. What else is better? Well, there's so much Pennywise. Like, Pennywise was way more aggressive in the second movie. I mean, not in the second movie, the first one. In Chapter 2, he was not scary. I'm not gonna lie. He was really good in one scene. Unfortunately, one scene. Actually, no, two scenes. With the little girl under the baseball stand and him floating off of the statue. Really good scenes. He knocked it out of the park. Definitely. He was just as good as... If I had to say how good he was